Hello? Can everybody hear me? I should also hear them, right?
Yeah, if I turn on my mic, so. Omar says yes. People are saying yes now. Some people say yes.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, they can.
Okay, so I'm going to take you through one of our new products. It's called the Learner Management Portal. So it was basically designed for one of our clients, and we've subsequently sold it to another client so far. So the purpose of this discussion is for us to introduce the Learner Management Portal to you, and it's not so much going to be actual training. Uh, so we've got this web portal, and it's also mobile compatible, which means that it's mobile responsive, and you can run it on a mobile device as well. We currently have it integrated to Palladium Enterprise, and it integrates via three methods. The first being our service items, our customers, and we can auto generate our quotes from the learner management system. So it's designed ideally for students to log on and book available courses, as well as to view their examination results, apply for certifications. But because it's our product, we can customize it to other clients' needs as well. So I'm gonna quickly take you through how a new student would log on. So if you look here at the bottom, you've got log on as a student and log on as a company. So what's a company? A company is a sponsor. So for example, if you think about it, I might run a company and I want my employees to attend the course, but I don't want my employees to pay for the course. So I can log on and book a course on behalf of those employees and pay for them. We've also got an administrative function. So an administrative function allows you to customize and create a lot of the master files on your own. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the administrative function first. I'm just logging on quickly. So if you have a look at the main screen or your dashboard screen, it's it's got a Windows 10 look and feel. So most clients should be quite comfortable with the navigation around the dashboard. If we look on the left hand side, we've got our menu structure. And if you go under your system administration, you can look at a lot of the setups for the master files. So we've got the system workflow driven with with activations and rejections. It also caters for email and SMS notification, both internally as well as to the students. But I mean, we can customize that how we want, and we can add new email communications. We can even customize the letters that go out to the students. Quick one, if we go to one of our courses, and I just edit that course, we have an option here to link to a letter. So this is where we can select a specific layout for a letter. We can define what columns we want to show and what columns we don't want to show. And for each and every letter or course, we can have specific reports or designs of different reports going out to the students. So if you think about it, we'll have an email going out when a student confirms his booking, and that'll serve as a booking confirmation. We could have an email going out when a student's marks or results have been entered into the system. So it's kind of a result sheet, as well as any certificates that we want to design for students on specific courses. Which means that if you've got course A and course B, you can have different layouts or different designs for each of the courses. If we quickly run through the rest of the master file setups, you can see we've got a language master here. So we can add, delete, and make any changes to the different languages that we want. Um, and and these relate to us understanding what language the student would speak or understand. We also have identity type master. So a student can identify himself by means of a passport, a South African ID, a driver's license. Maybe we want to include student cards, and we can basically add and remove as many as we want. We can also define different venues, and on each of those venues we can give it a venue name, a telephone number, venue address, the number of seats that the venue can cater for, and we're also going to be including classrooms within a venue. It's in development, and it will be added there shortly. We just need to keep in mind that the core structure of the learner management portal has been designed, but we still have to include a few more enhancements to that. We can also upload certain files to the venues. So, for example, we might want to include directions to the venue, or one of our clients wanted to include menus. So they cater for their courses, and they can upload menus which the student can pick. He might say, I want to have chicken on Monday, fish on Tuesday, vegetable on Wednesday. So I'm not going to run through all of those master files, but we basically can can update any one of these. So, for example, non-working days, we can specify that Easter is on the 25th of April this year, but in 2018 it could be on the 21st of April. So we specify those as non-working days, and those apply to us scheduling the courses. So the system works from 4 different summary points. The first being your administrative function, which we've gone through now. The second being a bookings function. The third being an examinations and rewrite of examinations function. And finally, a certification function. So I'm going to log out as the administrator and show you quickly how a new student would log on. So we're going to be changing the front screen or the login screen a little bit. So it's more so to make like your student selections a lot more easier. So if I click on a student, the first screen to come up is going to be a quick registration screen. Now the idea for a quick registration screen is for a student just to enter, or for a learner just to enter his first name, his surname, and to confirm his email address. This is more so to give him the ability to come back at any stage later on and confirm his registration. So I'm going to log on as I'm just going to use my email address so we can track the flow. Okay, so we get a message telling us that the initial registration is done, and a verification email is going to be sent to that student. So if I open this up, you'll see it's going to tell you, "Good day, Mary. Thank you for your response. Please click on the link below to complete your registration." All email communication regarding what content we want on the body of the email is going to be customizable by the end user or the customer. So he can basically put in his own logos and any content on the body of the email that he wants to. He might want to put in a student number, addresses, or anything like that. So if I click on this link, it's going to take me back to my registration screen, and I can continue entering the rest of my information. So I can enter my date of birth. I'm going to enter my identity number. Cell phone number. I'm going to leave my home phone number out. My physical address. And I'm going to use the same as my postal address. I'm going to enter my t-shirt size. So this was actually included in there as additional information. As the first client that we sold this to gives out t-shirts when a student registers. So I'm just going to select one. For other clients who most probably won't need this, we can remove that for them. And based on my based on my date of birth, it automatically calculates my age. It's more so for some people who don't know their half ages and they want to put 37 and a half and all of that stuff. So I'm going to click on the save button. Now it's going to take me to my document screen. You can have documents, or you can also opt not to have documents. These are more so for prerequisites for students. So we want to verify the student's ID document, maybe a matric certificate, scanned copy of iTest. So the second client that we sold this learner management portal to, they did courses for health and safety. So that's why we might want to include a copy of an iTest in there. So I'm going to say, here's my ID document, and I'm going to upload that file. I'm trying to find a small one, and I'm going to say save. So we also have the option for the student to enter his employment history. The reason why we had employment history for the student was for one of our clients. Their students get sponsored. So, for example, he may be working at Sasol, and Sasol may be his sponsor. So we just wanted to keep their employment history, because at some point he might move to Eskom, and Eskom would want to link him to their portal. So we've got full traceability on the student's movement. And finally, we register the student by selecting his username, putting in a password. Okay, so that student has completed his registration process, but it doesn't mean that he is a student on our system or learner on our system. It still needs to follow some workflow and some kind of approval process. So an administrator would need to go view his details and activate him as a student. At this point, the student will also receive an email telling him that the registration department is currently verifying his application, and he will receive some sort of communication within the next 48 hours. If you look on the administration dashboard, one of our options here says student activation, and we can go into that student, click on activate or reject, view that student's information, and finally decide to activate him or reject him. You'll also notice that the ID document that I uploaded is not here. It's because I haven't linked to my document repository as yet. It's just to save space on my machine. So I'm going to activate him. At this point, once I've activated the student, he will be created as a customer in the Palladium database. So when you're looking at selling the learner management portal, it integrates to Palladium, but we can integrate into other accounting systems if we have to, or we can use it as a standalone and not integrate into any accounting system. I'm just gonna go out of there. At this point, the student will receive a final email telling him that his registration has been successful. He can now log on using his username and password. So you also notice that I'm going through everything pretty quickly. It's more we'll do proper training at another date once we've finalized all the development on the learner management portal. So you'll now notice that when the student logs on, he has a dashboard with fewer icons. So he can view all the courses that he's booked on. He can request his student results. He can request for a certificate. He can do a new course booking, and he can make payment from the learner management portal. So currently we can integrate into various payment gateways. We looked at MyGate and Paygate to start, but we can look at other payment portals as well. And that's more so to cater for credit card payments. We've also included a function when the student clicks on to continue on his payment to do EFTs. So all that does is it allows the student to submit his proof of payment. It doesn't cater for the EFT payment from the learner management portal. He just attaches his proof of payment. So just to take one step back and look at the workflow. So when a student books on a course, he says, okay, this is the course that I'd like to do. I'm not sure if I've got any set up. Okay. So he might want to do Math C. When he selects Math C, it doesn't mean that he's booked on the course or that he can continue to do payment for the course. Firstly, an administrator must confirm that he has the necessary prerequisites to do that course. And we can define those prerequisites per course. So a course can have 3 different types of prerequisites. It could be the submission of a document like a matric certificate, or he could be applying to do a level 2 course and he most probably had to complete a level 1 course first, or it could be a list of questions that we want to ask him to complete before he can continue to book himself on that course. I'll take you through some of the prerequisites in a little while. So once a student selects a course that he wants to do, his status on our system will be set to unconfirmed, meaning that he hasn't been confirmed to do payment as yet. An administrator will go onto the system and either activate him or reject him to do that course. If he is activated to do that course, his status will be turned to provisionally confirmed, which means he can go ahead and do payment now. Once he's done payment, the administrator will get a notification that the student has done his payment, either via EFT or one of the payment gateways. Once the administrator or the accounts department has verified that the payment has cleared into the bank account, that administrator will go into the system and finally confirm that student. So it just works on a little bit of a workflow, which I'll most probably take you through later on once we do the training. So I'm not sure how much of this is going to work now, but I'm going to select to do Math 1C. And it tells me for Math 1C, I've got 2 different groups. So a little bit about how we've structured our courses. I'm gonna log on as an administrator so I can show you that one quickly. Step 1, when creating a new course, we need to give it a course name. and a course code. So I'm going to call this one SQL 2016 Advanced. We've then got to specify what course type it belongs to. I'm going to say SQL Server. So if you consider this from a Palladium point of view, our course type will be our course classifications. So it'll be our stock classifications in Palladium. Our course codes, those are going to be our service items which will be created in Palladium. I've also got a few other fields in here which we can rename or we can hide them or take them away. And I'm going to save that course. So this doesn't create our course. All this does is it creates a master file for different course names which we can use to build courses at a later stage. I can then go to my course setup and I can filter by course type, and based on the course type that I filter on, it will only display the course codes and the course names that link to that specific course type. So I'm going to look at SQL 2016 Advanced. So I've got a price for a member and a price for a non-member. Basically, we can rename those fields, and what that helps us with is when we try to sell the learner management portal, we can target your schools, we can target tertiary institutes, or we can target other kinds of institutes. Any institute that does training. So if you think about it, Palladium could use the learner management portal for ourselves. And when our VPs want to book on training, they can log on, select the training course that they want to do, either Durban, Joburg, Cape Town, and they can select that course and go on that training. So we've got a price for member and a price for non-member, meaning we can create two different price lists in Palladium, and a member will get one kind of pricing and a non-member will get maybe a higher pricing. We can use it or we can just stick to the one pricing. So we can enter the duration of the course. So I'm going to say this course is 32 hours, and I can select which account set from Palladium I want to link to this course. This is more so when we do our invoicing, so that it knows what accounts to debit and credit. I'm going to choose a course administrator and a lecturer. These are also master files within our administrator function, so you can create as much administrators and lecturers as you want. I'm going to save that, and it's now going to take me to my prerequisite screen. So I've created 3 types of prerequisites. We can create more if we want to, and I'm going to say that my prerequisite is a course. So before I do my SQL 2016 Advanced course, I need to do my SQL Server 2014, for example. And I'm going to just give it a description. And I can say whether this prerequisite is mandatory or not. I can then specify that this prerequisite also falls in conjunction with another prerequisite. So both prerequisites have to be met before a student can actually book on this course. But I'm just going to go simple for now and save that course. Okay, so within my course, I can have different modules. So what a module is basically an area for us to specify the different types of examinations we can have for a course. So if you think about it, in most courses, you've got a theory component and you've got a practical component. So I can go into my module and I can add a new module here, and I can say module 1 is SQL 2016 theory. Module 2 is my practical. I can then go and allocate my hours for that course within the two modules that I've got. So I'm going to say theory is 24 hours, save that. My practical is 8 hours, and it tells me based on the number of hours for the course, how many hours I have remaining to book this course. To book this module. Okay, so I've allocated 2 modules to this course, and now I've got a materials tab. So we can use materials or we cannot. So the idea behind this is that for certain courses you might want to hand out some material which you want to keep a register for because you might want to collect it back. So for example, if you have information on a memory stick, you can issue out memory sticks to the students and they can hand those back at the end of the course, or it could be for anything. We can serialize those material as well, so we can track which serial number was given to which student. It's got no implication into Palladium. It's got no integration into Palladium. It's just for us to track what materials were given out to students. So we finally move on to our groups. So what groups are? Groups can be considered as intakes. So you might have a course with 2 modules, and the same course may be run within 3 times in the year. So I can say I run SQL 2016 Advanced Training in January, and that'll be my intake 1. I could run the course again in June. That can be my intake 2. And I can run the course again maybe in September. That can be my intake 3. So it caters for unlimited groups and intakes. So I'm going to say intake 1. I can specify a venue, and I can tell the system that this starts on the 5th of June and it ends on the 8th of June. I can then go and include intake 2, and this one starts on the 12th of June and ends on the 15th of June. So we now have a course with 2 modules and 2 groups. Within the modules, we've got a section here to add exam. So what this tells us is, sorry, let me just cancel that. I want to edit my module. So I've got a theory module, and I'm going to write an exam at the end of that theory module. Now, most examiners have about maybe 10 or 20 sets of different. So if you think about it, you might have about 10 different examination papers, paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, and so forth. So you might want to specify that on an initial exam, the student writes paper 1. When he comes to do a rewrite, you might want to just take note that he's already written paper 1, so you might want to give him paper 2 or paper 3. It's just to make sure that the student doesn't write the same paper during his examinations, as well as for the different intakes. You wouldn't want intake 1 writing paper 1 and intake 2 writing paper 1, because then the questions are going to be the same. So within the add examination screen, this is where we select our practical module, and we can specify we've got a paper 1. This is for 2017 year. It's for my practical, and this consists of my examination is 8 hours, and it's for my initial exam, and they're going to write this examination on the 19th of June, and I can save that one. I think I missed out one. So I'm going to go theory 2017, 8 hours on the 19th, paper 01. I'm going to miss this one out, and I'm going to save that. I'm just going to do one for theory as well, so I've got it completed. I'm going to say that my practical exam is going to be 16 hours. This is going to be my paper 2, initial exam, and this is going to be run on the 26th of June. So I've now allocated my examinations to my various modules. Now there's 2 areas where we can schedule these courses. So we've got the duration of the courses, we've got the examinations. We just need to schedule which dates we can allocate them to. So the first place that we can allocate them is within our groups, and if we edit the group, we can say add module schedule. So I can say intake 1, my practical module starts on, it was the 5th, and this ends on the 5th. I can then specify that my theory for intake 1 starts on the 6th, and this one ends on the 8th. So from a customer ease point of view, we didn't like this method of scheduling dates to courses. So we've designed something called a year planner. And the year planner gives us an overview of all our courses per groups, per modules, and we can schedule our courses based, we can schedule from the year planner. So if I go to my SQL 2016 Advanced, I can also add any new intakes or any new groups from here, or any new modules from here. So I'm going to look at intake 2, and I'm going to schedule that from here. So I'm going to look at June, and I'm going to start this from the 12th of June. So if I click here, you'll see it tells me I've got 8 hours. So I can only schedule this for 8 hours. And we currently cater for 8 hours in a day, but we can change that if we need to. So I can go to my theory component, and I can specify that this is 24 hours, and it's going to schedule this for 24 hours. So it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It won't allow the users to schedule over non-working days that we specify, as well as Saturdays and Sundays. So I know it may look a bit complex for now, but we'll run through it again once we go through the training. I'm going to log out. I'm going to quickly log on as a student again. And I'm going to select the course to book. So it's put my SQL 2016 advanced course in there. I forgot to put a cost price, I think. Give me a second. I'm going to just quickly edit that course. And any changes we make from the learner management portal will update those similar changes in the Palladium database. While we're chatting about pricing, so how we designed the pricing integration with Palladium is that we said that we can enter prices individually on the learner management portal, but we've also got a function built in to allow us to update our prices in Palladium, and those updated prices within the Palladium price list will then reflect on the learner management portal. It just made sense to do it in Palladium because it gave us a lot more functionality. Okay, I'm going to try and book myself on that course again. So it shows me that I've successfully got intake 2, and this is running on the 12th of June, and the theory is from the 13th to the 15th of June, and I can choose to book myself on that course. I'm going to save and continue. Okay, I didn't have any questions as prerequisites, so I'm going to take that out. So I've selected the course that I want to do, but I'm not actually booked on that course. When I log on as an administrator, I'll need to go and approve that student to do that course. So under this icon here, validate student for payment proceedings, that heading is going to be changed. A lot of these headings are going to be changed. It's just not that understandable. So I'm going to click on that, and it shows us that Mary wants to do SQL 2016 advanced. I can go here and activate and reject him. All this does is it shows us the dates for the theory and the dates for the practical. But we're going to neaten out these screens a little bit. So if you look at this one, they didn't actually do the grouping properly. All it's supposed to do is show us two lines, one with practical, one with theory, and a start and end date for both of them. So there's still a few kinks that we need to iron out, but we'll get there pretty quickly. So at this point, a student will also get an email to notify him that he can go in and do his payment. Okay, so I'm not going to wait for that email. I'm just going to log on. So now you'll see a 1 by my continuity payment, which means I can go in there, look at that course, make sure I want to do that course, and click on payment. So remember I told you we're catering for two types of payments, EFTs and through a payment gateway. They haven't uploaded the EFT component to our live test environment. this is still our test environment. So I'm just going to do the payment gateway route. I actually think I put in the wrong password there. So at this point, he can print his booking confirmation, but it just doesn't work right now. All it does is it sends out a second email and throws out an error. But the idea behind that is that we're not going to print a booking confirmation from this stage. He'll only get that booking confirmation after the administrator has approved him. So we're going to be taking out that print booking confirmation anyway. So once the administrator has approved him, he'll get an email with his booking confirmation, as well as it will save to his portal, and he'll be able to print it out from there once he's been activated. Okay, so here's the one email to state that the courses which you have booked for has been authorized. Here's the email to say that his payment was completed. I don't know why it says unsuccessful here. I just need to look at the I need to look at the wording. Okay, so I think you guys have a fairly good idea of how we've structured the workflow, how we wanted to include it with authorizations, how we do the email communication. So I'm gonna quickly take you through what other components we've got. Okay, so under our student function, we can print an attendance register. So we print attendance registers for the actual courses or the training, as well as attendance registers for the examinations. So we looked at an easy way of updating the attendance registers. So for example, I can select a course, I can select my intake, I can select my module or any combination of modules. And I can click on the export button. So I just don't have the drivers on that hosted server for exporting and importing into Excel. But the idea behind that is that once it exports the attendance registers and the attendance registers are marked by the lecturer or the examiner, they can then be uploaded back onto the system, and those attendance registers are marked off against the student for that course. So in some institutes or most institutes, they'll also need to submit a training record or proof of attendance. So based on this, we've got an automated process to email proof of attendance to the student, or if he has been sponsored, proof of attendance to his sponsor. So that's the whole idea behind the export and the import. Under student functions, we've also got the ability to input our student results. So I can enter SQL 2016 intake 2. Okay, so it's telling me that the course hasn't even started yet. So how can I enter any results in there? So let's try Maths 1C. Let's try that one. I think I've got anyone booked there. Okay, so it's telling me that for examination paper number 7 that was written on the 22nd of June, or it's going to be written on the 26th of June, 22nd of June, I can enter student results as well as his status, which will be pass or fail, and this status is automatically calculated based on the pass and fail percentage that we allocate to a course. So we allocate those percentages within our administrator function. So there's two ways we can do that. Per student, we can enter the results one by one, or once again, we can export into Excel, update it into Excel, and import it back into the system. So over and above the examinations, we also cater for rewrites. So if I go back to my course types, I can edit my SQL Server, and I can say for this specific course type, I've got an 80% pass mark. I've got 2 cycles which I can do my rewrites in, and the number of attempts I can get per cycle. So if I fail a module, I've got 2 attempts in cycle 1, or I can put 1 attempt in cycle 2, or no attempts. I also have the maximum number of months for which I can complete my rewrites. So the curriculum can change pretty quickly. So I can tell the student that as soon as he gets his examination results, he has 6 months, 12 months, 3 months within which he has to complete his rewrite. If he doesn't, then he'll have to reattend that course. So all that does is it helps us to monitor and make sure that the student completes his rewrites on time. If I log on to the student console again, you see here I've got an option that's not here. Okay, so they basically sorry, we've missed out one of the options on the dashboard, which would be to apply for it. So most institutes will charge a student to do a rewrite, whereas your tertiary institutes or your schools won't do that. So just keep in mind that our target market is going to be schools, tertiary institutes, and any, any other institute which offers training to their customers. So some of the options will be applicable and some of them may not be applicable. So we can switch them off and switch them on per user as an issue. You guys have any questions for me so far? Okay, so I think we've got one question from Saul. And operate and or it will automatically give you another line. Yep, 100%. So we can say that a prerequisite for a level 3 course has to be a level 1 and a level 2, or it could be just a level 4. So it will definitely open up another line for your next course. Sorry, for your next year.
Yeah, there are some ways that can be used.
Okay, does anybody have any other questions or comments? What do you think about it? Is it something that you think you can take to market for us? Hello. I actually think all you guys walked away from most of that. Um, can you get John to put his mic off? Hi, John. Can you turn your mic off? Thanks. Okay, so Maureen had a question regarding the target markets. So we could target schools, we could target our tertiary institutes, but we could target other institutes as well. So one of the institutes that we've sold to, they provide training for health and safety. So you get like your CPR or height safety, height training. So we could target guys like that, but more so your institutes and your schools. But I mean, it could be used for anyone who needs their customers to log on and do some sort of booking. So it can be used for lots of people. Okay, Maureen, regarding price, we haven't decided on the price as yet when we go to market. Well, we'll need to come back to you once we've got our brochures done and our pricing structure out the way. But like I said, it was developed for one specific customer who paid an arm and a leg. So we've got most of the development out and paid for. So we'll come back to you in terms of pricing. Okay, Charles had a question. Is it purely online based? 100%. So it's going to be browser based as well as mobile based. Is there something else you were thinking about, Charles? Maybe another option. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys my email address. So maybe if you want to, you can just direct your individual questions to me over email and I'll get them answered. But we'll also get our marketing team to get back to you regarding our training date and when we can schedule proper training. So the training on the Learner Management Portal, it's most probably going to be done over a few sessions because there's quite a bit to go through in detail. But we'll come back to you guys on that. Okay, thank you.